Folks, here's my 20 cents into the folks talking. I live in Maryland, and apparently there was some event that happened on October 13th in the AM. A lot of folks said it was around 3 a.m. And apparently it appeared that something crashed, and there were a lot of witnesses, not to the actual crash itself, but the after effects, or they could actually hear it or feel it in their homes. And of course they looked to see what was up. And I think I saw one video footage of the actual trail, the actual smoke trail from whatever it was, allegedly. So that's why I'm on here. I want to talk about this for a second. So I have a science background, and when I was at University of Maryland, right up the road here, when I was in school, I took some courses. Since I was in science, science is like my thing. So I took some extracurricular courses, I guess you would call them. They weren't prerequisites, and one of them was astronomy, and the other one was Life in the Universe. And Life in the Universe was a pretty popular course. It was always full. It was hard to get into it, simply because folks, curious about life in the universe. So I'm glad I took it along with the astronomy course also, because having both courses gave me a little bit of insight into let me say it this way. Having the astronomy course gave me insight to what was happening in the Life in the Universe course. So I'm just going to try to tie this up really quick here. So Life in the Universe, the reason that course was so good and so eye-opening is because everybody was in the class to actually hear from a professional, and the professor say that yes, for sure, there's life in the universe. That's what we all wanted to hear that. But by the time that course was over, the conclusion was that we don't know. Of course, the professor doesn't know. But based on the professor's experience, and that was his life. I think it was a him. I can't remember. It's been so far back. But based on the experience, they were able to, with numbers, because we're science people, and facts, they were able to explain to us the odds of any extraterrestrial. Okay, you hear how I made sure I said that clearly. Extraterrestrial. That means not of this earth. Okay, so he said he or she said that for that phenomenon, that an extraterrestrial, things not of this earth, to traverse the universe, the galaxies, the solar system, to get here. I'm just going to do this on here. I'm not going to get into all the numbers with you guys, but it's about this much. You can barely see between my fingers. Okay? So that's just my 20 cents that I'm throwing into that. Now, so people would say, I'm sure they're going to jump up in my comments. So they would say, Solo, so what is it that folks are seeing? Okay? And what is it that the U.S. government announced a couple months back? This is what they're seeing, in my opinion. They are seeing things. I've seen things. I remember as a child seeing let me say it correctly, UFO. Again, it's an acronym for unidentified flying object. Unidentified flying object. So I know I'm going to get into the whole government. I'll make a whole nother video about the whole government thing. But when folks are posting on here, they are misleading folks. They probably don't even realize it. But when you put UFO, I saw a UFO, that was a UFO, and then put the little symbol for the little icon for what they think is a extraterrestrial craft that looks like what we see in movies, that is deceiving folks. And so we as human beings, we have very vivid imaginations. Okay? And so we add to this phenomena of, yes, it is a UFO because it's unidentified. That does not mean that it's extraterrestrial beings from another place outside of our solar system. That's not what that means. So I just find it interesting because I see how folks are reacting, and I'm just looking at their faces, and a lot of people are scared, a lot of people are nervous. But based on my own knowledge from those two courses alone, astronomy and life in the universe, the odds, I'm not saying it's not possible, but the odds of extraterrestrial outside of the Earth atmosphere, right? Outside of our realm, visiting here, about that minimal. And I'm going to end it with this. If for whatever reason there is something coming outside of this Earth realm, if folks believe that they're going to be so secretive, okay, so secretive, it's just now. This is just on my own tip here. I just find that hard to believe. So when and if they come here, I say they because we just don't know. Our imaginations. It's going to be a ruckus. And more than just a couple people are going to notice it. The Earth is big, folks. The Earth is big. Billions of people. At any given time, half the Earth is awake. Okay? So somebody's, whole bunch, are going to know. All right? That's just my 20 cents. See what you guys have to say about that. We'll do another whole video about the government. So I said I'm going to end it, but let me end it really with this. So UFO. Yes, people are seeing unidentified. Yes, they're seeing UFOs. That does not mean that they're outside of this realm that we call Earth and our atmosphere here. That's not what that means. Yes, they're unidentified. Unidentified. We don't know what they are. And that's why I said I'm going to do a whole nother video on the government and why they made that announcement. That's a hint.